Welcome to LFM Season 16. Week 1 runs around Kyalami, and you are here to join me for my final rookie race. The Khaos here is getting me mega excited for my first full season. Finishing this gave me my ELO you can see on the entry list. I'll make a quick apology for the scuffed editing. I'm no great commentator like Chris Rogers or a rookie killer like Bradley Setters, but I hope I can show you some pieces of my progress as a brand new sim racer. I have around 150 hours in ACC, and that's why I'm still learning super important lessons. Just like this one, don't jump into a race blind. Here we go, getting started on to the front straight, crossing the finish line. Lights going green in just a second. It was absolute chaos from the get-go, but I qualified all the way in the back. The only driver behind me, Judenko, didn't even get a qualifying time. So I am well and truly off the pace right now. I'm going to blame a lot of that on the setup, but it's definitely a lot down to being a driver. And oh my gosh, everything goes absolutely insane off of the rip. Just hit the brakes. I got so lucky that the Ford didn't come across and take the lane I was trying to use, and all of a sudden, from dead last up into what's showing 16th now, but I don't believe that's right. I think it came out to somewhere around 10th, and there we go, sure enough. Absolutely insane start as we dive into this race. Let's go ahead and take a look back real quick to see what exactly happened at the start of the race. Everyone hit everyone, that's for sure, but we can kind of narrow it down just a little bit as we go ahead and take a look at the purple car in the middle of your screen right now. Everyone's able to make it through turn 1, no problems too much. A little bit of contact, as you can start to see, things will probably be getting crazy. Oh, one bump and off into the gravel. That sausage curb, not even a sausage curb, but just the dip of the curb on the outside, transitioning from grass to curb, killed multiple drivers. So we happen to see a Porsche. You can see he gets pushed out a little bit wide, seems fine, totally good, curb, and all of a sudden, no control, hitting multiple cars, and this poor soul just absolutely getting railed right now. He struggled for quite some time to get this car righted and heading the correct direction. You can go and look in now with an Aston, as you can see one of the only people smart and skilled enough to make it through this without contact from the middle of the field. How he managed to survive that, it's truly a miracle, and he is certainly appreciative as we go ahead and hop back into the race. We see a couple Fords in this race that we have a couple run-ins with, let's just say, but this is not really one of them. This is one of the group that really just manages to pull away from me. Honestly, not a lot I was able to do about it. As we go ahead and come down the mine shaft at the moment, heading over to the crocodiles. I was really struggling with this setup, which I believe I did reference earlier. I jumped into this race completely blind. I have a couple collections of setups from some other racers that were nice enough to pass them over to me, but I really haven't spent any time with them. I've really only been using the Lexus on the safe and aggressive setup. Why am I using the Lexus? Well, I am part of the NASR's league, rookie league specifically, and as a bit of a long-term service to the new drivers, NASR's asked us to keep it to one of 4 older generation vehicles, one of which is the Lexus here. Awesome straight line speed, and honestly feels like a pretty decent car overall when I've been driving it, currently practicing for Silverstone. But out here on Kyalami, a race, a track I have spent a little bit of time on, but I just felt incredibly uncomfortable. No practice really, to be honest. I worked midnight, so it was a 5 a.m. race to me that I decided to pick up and do on a whim, and man, it showed. Quality of my driving, quality of my racing in general was definitely not up to snuff. As much as I am not a quick driver, as I pick up a track limits warning right there, you can see that I am not in control of this car right now. Do everything I can to wrestle it in a bit as the time goes on, but it was rough. If we go ahead and see one of our other racers on the track. We've got Serrano that we run into, one of the Fords I was mentioning. He is going to be gaining on me right now, about a second in the rear, but I lose a lot of grip and end up sideways. You can see in the top right corner just how offline I was trying to come out of that turn. And really the only thing that can save me right now is the straight line speed of Lexus as I miss another apex miles out wide. But man, luckily somehow on the exit I'm able to put the power down and this thing just carries me away from people. But as I was saying, on the safe and aggressive presets, they feel pretty reasonable, but I'm on a race preset made by people other than myself. I really have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to setups, and it just feels like a dog. I always struggle with slow speed corners, but with this setup on the Lexus right now, it's been worse than ever. As you'll see, most likely 0.7 seconds of a gap, and all of a sudden top of the turn and I'm down to 0.5. Tons of gain for my opponents as I'm going through these slow speed corners. I gotta do everything I can to defend. I'm way further up this lineup than I should be based on my qualifying times. There's a bit of a pack behind me at least, so that means that if I can hold them off well enough, they'll end up fighting each other, and I seem to have a really lucky habit of making the people behind me fight each other so much that I get open space. As you can see right now, I'm going to open up a little bit of a gap from the contact as a BMW is able to make their way past Serrano. Wisbeck now going to be the one chasing me, and again, every single one of these drivers faster than me basically throughout the entire course. I might have had a little bit more of a chance on my normal setups, but not at the moment. Lexus straight line speed keeping me in the battle makes it really hard for people to pass. I might not have a lot of control or seeming track knowledge, despite the fact that I do actually know Kyalami decently well for only 150 hours in a setup. But it doesn't look like it. I'm supposed to be hitting that apex late, and instead I keep clipping it so early that I'm on a roller coaster ride. And if you look behind me, that is a conga line, that is a funeral procession, and I am driving my own hearse right now. I'll have to see if I live as the BMW tries to cut up the inside. He faked to the outside, but I knew that he wasn't going to be trying to make a pass on the outside up on such a sharp corner, so I hugged the inside and there's nowhere for him to go. Able to defend my position for now, but as more and more people pile up behind me, this is just only going to get more difficult. Driving seemingly ultra defensive lines as I continue to spin out. Luckily, there's nowhere to go as we go through the crocodiles and cheetah. Another defensive line, and I gotta wait. It's crazy going through those corners. I gotta wait 3 to 5 business days just to put the power down. That's what it's feeling like. The pressure is only going to intensify as Wisbeck is looking for my spot on the grid. 10th position. He knows it's in his sights.
Car on the right.
My braking points, I just cannot figure them out. I feel like I'm braking way, way earlier than everyone else, and I'm still sailing past the apex half the time. Luckily, I'm able to hold off Wisbeck. Oh, finally hit a decent apex, put the power down, and see ya. Lexus, the only thing keeping me in this game right now. Nothing special in that turn, not even particularly good, but able to open up an extra 10th, which just anything I can get right now. I'm crawling, absolutely gasping for air, drowning right now. Oh, spinning, sliding, and once again, Wisbeck has a chance, but I'm able to just barely hug that inside curb 1 time and 2 times as we head up and out of turn 9, up to turn 10 and 11. Just gonna hug the inside again, playing ultra defensive. As you see, we now have 5, 6, 7 cars, maybe even piling up on turn 10. Come down the mine shaft again. I have a little bit of space. We'll have to see if we can hold it. I know I have space. I'm trying to focus a little bit more on my braking points in my line, and yet I'm still not able to find anything. comes to consistency. A little bit of a grass touch, but nothing too bad. Even on the final turn, turn 16, normally braking around the 50-meter board, we'll look at it again as we had a not super eventful lap. Most people I feel like are braking on the 50. I'm trying to have to brake a little bit before the 50. Sometimes I'm going too far. That one actually looked like a decent turn as we once again have Serrano on our tail.
Well done, mate. The fastest lap so far.
We gotta see if we can hold him off. Coming down to turn 2. Braking point, and oh my gosh, what an aggressive move by Serrano. Get tapped in the back by Fradilla. And oh my gosh, yeah, he's flashing me, but what do you want to do? I just got overtaken. Didn't have a very good line. Serrano really bodied me out of that corner. You have to let me know in the comments if that was a little bit too aggressive of a move, but at the same time, I think it was just the fact that I'm lacking, and maybe the brakes on the Lexus are lacking, because everyone's braking later than me. And I definitely left open space on the inside. I didn't think he had the time. You can see he's already cleared off. I just cannot hang right now. Now I've got to fend off the Ferrari that rear-ended me so rudely. See if we can manage that. Once again, back to playing defensive as we're in position 11. Rated number 17, despite the fact that I couldn't see. Coming in a little close. Once again, I'm getting completely caught up to every time we come to a slow speed corner. Hugging a little bit on the inside, but I don't want to sacrifice my line too much. No room for the Ferrari to get through. Defensive line once more as we go to the crocodiles. I actually get up on the curb, but I still feel like I'm slow coming out of that corner. A lot of sausage curb on that one. Cheetah is really biting, using its claws there. I'm basically parking it on every single apex. As you can see, the Ferrari not happy behind me. Knows he's quicker than me, but I mean, you gotta be able to make the pass. I'm going to do everything I can to keep him from doing just that. After seeing how aggressively Serrano was able to cut in on the inside of turn 2, I decided to hug it a lot tighter, but that's only going to continue to sacrifice my time. And that door is going to close. Yep, tons and tons of contact. Cannot believe he decided to go for that. No space there. Wasn't able to make the turn in time. Just absolutely bodies me off the track. That one I'm probably going to be protesting, but hey, I mean, I am the slower driver here. Let me know if I'm out of my own bounds. Drop 3 positions off of that contact, and I'm pretty rattled at this point. On the upside, I'm much better at... Oh, who's that? That's Mac, one of the back markers. At first, live, I thought he had run out of fuel, but anyway. I'm trying to follow these drivers, and I'm able to put down a couple slightly better laps as the Ferrari goes spinning. Looks like Fradilla is taking more bodies. Got a kill count going positive. KDR above 1 apparently. As he's able to overtake Serrano somehow. Had some really good fights with Serrano on this map. Kyalami and Serrano treating me pretty well. Had some really good fighting despite the fact that I was not throwing down good laps. But I have a little bit of space behind me for once, and I'm able to kind of figure out where my braking points are a little bit. Get settled in just a tiny bit. I'm still not doing too hot on these slower speed corners. We can see I'm not getting completely gapped by Serrano this time. Factor of a little bit less pressure behind and some tail to chase ahead of me. Serrano goes a little bit wide come down the mine shaft, but he's able to get all the way over to the left side to make his turn count. Head out of turn 15. Hitting this a little bit more consistently now. Braking point looks a little bit better on my end, but I still feel like I just can't put the power down. I mean, I'm not losing too much time to Serrano coming out of there, but he's also in a boat of a car. And I just feel like if I was able to put the power down a little bit earlier like I think I should be catching some people with the straight line speed of the Lexus. Now granted, Ford Mustang out there also has a lot of power, but with how I was able to maintain my position despite the tow earlier in the race, I definitely think I have a little bit of an edge there. Hitting a couple apexes for once in my life, didn't know I knew how to do that. As our race continues all the way down to 6 minutes, been fighting for my life, the vast majority of it. We skipped a couple laps going through, but at most it's been about 2 laps in total. Those were mostly the few times that I wasn't having a bunch of cars on my rear. Able to actually close a bit of a gap to Serrano now. Finding a decent braking point, and now for once I'm gaining up on the slow speed corners. At least that's what it feels like. The gap does open up a little bit again as we accelerate out, but I've got a little bit of a tow now. We take a similar line, myself and Serrano, coming down the mine shaft into the crocodiles. Felt a lot better on that turn. Finally starting to figure out how this Lexus feels. Braking just before the 50 board. A little deep on that one, but nothing too terrible. As we go ahead and cross the start and finish line one more time. Skipping ahead a little bit again, we've just been following Serrano for quite some time, but we also have some company behind again. We've had multiple drivers crashing out in the beginning, and all of a sudden they're starting to catch back up. Only 4/10 to a Ferrari behind. I'm guessing, oh wait, doesn't matter. We now have an opportunity. Serrano's off the side. I slowed down a little bit more than I wanted to. Almost got rear-ended by another Ferrari, but I am on Serrano's tail, and he's probably shaking after that mistake. I don't know if he fell asleep at the wheel or what. Making sure to hit my braking point. Oh, he's kind of slow. And there's a spin. We have an opportunity. Dive left, and all of a sudden we are alongside and pulling away. Got to be able to make this move stick, but at this point, I think I've got it done. Didn't know I had it in me. Yeah, you're not faking into the inside. He goes to the outside, but I just scrub off too much speed, and he's able to maintain the outside line into turn 2. Turn 3 now, and he's able to pull ahead, and I'm trying to not die on the sausage curb on the inside. I'm not going to make the same mistake as some of the other drivers did. The Ferrari that punted me off, I'm not going to dive through that gap. It does not exist, so I'm smart enough to not really fight for it right now, but man, I thought I had that done, and Serrano was dangling the lollipop right in front of my face and snatched it away again. Now it's his turn to drive a little bit defensive.
Clear on the left.
Bit of contact there, but nothing too terrible except for the fact that I let myself drift out too far wide. Now I'm really worried about this pressure from the Ferrari. Watch him gaining and pressing. I'm going to make sure I cover the inside for both of us, but oh frick, I missed my braking point. I thought I could cover it, and just with, oh man, after diving that deep, I'm not going to try and hold onto that position. My conscience is not going to let it be. I could have absolutely killed multiple drivers on that turn, missing my braking point like that. So I'm going to go ahead and settle back in. Lost a few positions, which is absolutely a bummer, but I don't deserve it after a braking point like that. Just glad that I wasn't the one causing accidents. Didn't even cost Serrano his position, as he was able to see me miss my braking point and turned out right. Now we're on the back of the train. Danko and another Ford behind us, but we have enough of a train running ahead of us that they might be able to throw each other off, and we can snatch up a couple positions and get them back. At this point, I'm not feeling like I'm ridiculously slower than everyone else on the field, but I'm still sliding. Somebody must have put some oil slicks on this course. Feels like I'm in, but I'm actually hitting an apex, and once again, similar move to what we pulled earlier on the Ford. We are alongside the Porsche, braking a little bit late to make sure we have an opportunity to go out wide. If the Porsche had decided to fight for that position, oh boy, in round 2, instead of a Ferrari, this time it's a Ford. I don't know what Dudenko is thinking as he absolutely just nails
Leader is on the
my
final
back
lap.
left tire. I was never willing to let that space go. He came from a different postal code sending that one in. Seemed like he was trying to beat Sander on that turn, and instead he bit off more than he could chew. Tried to take a bite of me, but it didn't work. Just a little lucky that he spun instead of me. Definitely counting my blessings there. But we gotta refocus right now, see if we can catch back up to this group ahead. Definitely some exciting things going on in this race. I was expecting to be all alone if I got stuck at the back of the pack, but how these LFM races go, you know there's always going to be some kind of an accident, some kind of chaos going on. So there would likely be people to race with, but I'd much rather do my racing in the middle of the field, as far as I'm concerned. 14 might be a little bit lower down, but I still have 10th or 11th within sight.
There's a slow car ahead.
Especially if people keep driving themselves off track. Slow car warning coming out, so I miss an apex again. But at least I'm hitting a little bit more consistent time, so I'm not fully losing the pack ahead of me. Just over a second, about a second and a half to the group ahead, but with 3 of them so close, there's definitely some opportunities. The race is effectively over at this point.
The leader has finished the
And
race.
there we go. Leader is finished. We got one more opportunity. Maybe a potential for a pass if these drivers ahead of us keep fighting. Up to turn 10. Oh, contact between the two of them. Porsche and Ferrari going out too wide. And we're able to gain a lot of time as Serrano finally pulls ahead. And what's going on here? The Ferrari lifting, maybe? Also, we've got a great run. Going to take to the inside, hit my braking marker, and oh, I'm actually able to hit the apex for once. Oh, chaos behind me. What is going on in this last section of the race? But I'm able to get ahead of the Ferrari. As long as I don't bin it here, I should have my position locked. I'm going to cover the inside just in case, leaving some space on the outside if Ferrari tries to swing it around the outside, but no, he doesn't quite have the run on me. Lexus straight line speed definitely going to carry me through to the end. And oh my gosh, what a race. I was giggling after that one. My heart was in my throat. 1,000 beats per minute, and you can go ahead and check out the results there. Thanks for joining, and I hope to see you in the future.